Welcome to Realty TV. I'm Lane Sanger from Mike Pero Real Estate. Today's guest is Chris Weck from CNR Surveyors Limited. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Lane.
Glad to see you here. Chris, we've got an interesting topic today that I've sort of wanted to ask you a little bit about, and that is the unitary plan, which is going to affect pretty much all homeowners to some degree in the Auckland region. Just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what your company does.
Okay, basically I've been surveying in the Orewa area for 35 years now, based on Orewa. Our company CNR Surveyors was established in 2001, so that's been operating for 16 years based on Orewa once again. Basically specialise in the Hibiscus Coast, Rodney area, but we do go all over the Auckland region, so we can go everywhere.
I guess, Chris, the unitary plan has created more density, a high density. Well, that's the intention of the unitary plan for the next 30 years.
Yep, correct.
So how is that going to impact on? Does that mean more high rises? What does that really mean?
What it's done is it's pretty much kept what was the lower intensity stuff the same, like the medium. What was medium intensity is now a single house zone, and the low intensity, that's pretty much stayed the same. The density's similar, although there's a little bit more options there with that to develop. Sizes have altered a little bit, so what was possibly not subdivided before can be now in those zones.
Right.
But the high intensity stuff, zoning areas have changed, the rules have changed significantly, that more dwellings can be put on those sites.
Yeah. We're
not so limited by per square metre building sort of sizes, like the old rules, you had one per 275 square metres of dwelling. Now the rules are more open, they don't actually specify the amount of units you can have on a certain size site. It basically boils down to building controls more than site sizes. It's the high intensity, your mixed housing zones have made a real difference with being able to put more on there.
Yeah. Do you see that's going to transfer into more like terrace housing?
Yeah, well, that's how the rules are sort of more being set up for building that type of construction rather than the single level homes where you could put 2 or 3 on the site. The rules now, because they're open ended, they lend itself to more the terrace housing or sort of multi-story situation in the area to get the density up.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, you just mentioned about the single house zoning. Remember, just before the unitary plan came in last year, there was a few of the people, or even some of the people that purchased properties off through my clients, they quickly rushed to get in the minor dwelling zones on the single house zoning, which was like 600 and above size sections, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
But what's happened since they've reintroduced the minor dwelling zoning?
Correct.
Not minor dwelling zoning, but been able to put a minor dwelling on
correct,
there.
Lane. When they first brought out the draft unitary plan rules, they left out the minor dwelling provision in there completely. So there was a big panic on that, but that was reintroduced as part of the submission process, and it's now put back in there. So you can put minor dwellings on most of the single house zone sites again now. So similar 65 square metre footprints and rules, but that's been reintroduced. The single house zone is quite an interesting one because it was previously 600 square metre lots, no matter whether you had a house or a section on it, but now under the unitary plan they actually just say 600 square metres vacant site. So if you've got, previously you used to have a 1200 square metre site to even look at subdividing.
Yes.
Now, depending on your location of your existing house, you may be able to still subdivide because the site around the house can be smaller than 600.
Okay.
The rule just says 600 vacant, so it's opened up a few more options.
Yep.
No, it's opened a few more opportunities for people who've got their house situated in a at the front of the site with a big backyard. They can have a 300 or 400 square metre site around the existing house and a 600 section. So the 1,000 square metre sites can now be a bit more easily subdivided to houses, depending on where the house is located. So that's a bit of a change.
Yeah, cool. So I also think that can actually potentially impact on the value of a person's property, especially when they're coming to sell. So I think for those that have got unsure about what they can and can't do, does it cost, somebody wants to give a quick phone call and say, hey, look, what can and can't I do, or maybe have to do? What do? Can they give you a call?
Yeah, just contact us. We're easy contactable. If you Google Surveyors area, we normally pop up there, top of the list. And we've got a website, and our phone numbers are readily available from phone book and they say Google. We don't charge anything for giving advice when people buy. We even do site visits and stuff without charging, because there's no sort of set rule for every site. Every site's got some little fish hook or something different with it. Even the person themselves wants to build rather than create vacant sites. There's different scenarios with every situation, so it pays to actually contact somebody like us and have a chat about it. No obligation to use us, just the service is there, and the advice is free.
Cool. Now I've actually, I think there's some great advice from Chris there. So if you've got a site there that you're not sure whether you could be potentially subdividable or what you can do on it, either give Chris a call directly, or feel free to give me a call. I can put you on to Chris or somebody else, or whoever you like. But I think without the understanding of what you can and can't do, you may not actually realise the value of your property. I've got one other situation, a scenario completely different from the unitary plan. A few years ago, we had a property where you got involved. One of the buyers buying this property was unsure where the tree was, whether it was on the property they were looking at buying or whether it was on the neighbouring property. Now, and that would already determine whether they were going to buy the property or not. The long story short is that they didn't proceed because after you guys got involved, the actual tree was right on the boundary.
Correct.
So in the end, it was, I guess, in the too hard basket, and the rest is history. But how accurate is your, surveying? Is it to the nearest sort of inch or centimetre, or even closer than that?
Yeah. Basically, we're working to the centimetres, centimetre accuracy. So all our set out and stuff is to that. And boundaries are one of our simpler things we do. We do that, just boundary pegs. Simpler jobs. So it pays to get things checked, especially with sections. What's some of the sites where you've got a mown section in the middle of a big subdivision. You think, when you're looking at it, you think, there's the section, the mowing area, but the mowing contractors don't really know where to go. So it pays to actually, it's in the agreements now that the vendors have to peg it. So maybe the vendors need to get in a little bit earlier and peg them so people can see. But it's an interesting one about the tree.
Cool.
So,
one last question I'm going to ask you before we wrap it up, and that is purchasers buying vacant land. You've sort of come across perhaps potential issues with vacant land. We need to pegs need to be in. They need to be in before settlement. So tell me a little bit about perhaps the problems or recommendations you would give to owners about having their survey pegs for vacant land.
Yep, correct. As you know, in the agreement of sale and purchase, there's provision in there that the vendor has to have the vacant sections pegged at time of settlement. So what I'm suggesting is maybe the vendors need to get a little bit earlier and peg them where it's not so clear where the corners are. If there is some existing fences up and things, so that purchaser's probably got a fair idea where it's going to be. But some of these mown sections in the middle of a multi-lot subdivision, which haven't been built on next door, what's necessarily looks like the section is not necessary yet. So I think the vendors should maybe get in a bit early and peg it. Then the purchasers know, rather than leave it till settlement day and it's suddenly a surprise to the purchasers. But yeah, pegging sections is one of our. We do subdivisions obviously, but pegging sections, levels for architects and things is what we do that too. That's more simple stuff. But
No, that's great. Well, look, thank you, Chris. We're going to sort of wrap it up now. I think that's about it. But if you have any other questions regarding about your property, what Chris does, etc., you're welcome to give Chris a call. Chris, how do people, get a hold of you? Yes, you're on Centreway Road. What's your contact details?
Yep, that's fine. Our main office phone number is 0942 64051. My mobile is 0274 902 876. So feel free to phone me on mobile or the office. You'll get either Rick or Chris when you phone the office. Talk to one of us. We've got an in-house planner which does all our basic planning stuff for surveying, so we can put you onto her for some advice on that too. We're at 28 Centreway Road at the moment, but sometime late this year we'll probably be down at 172A Centreway Road, which is right opposite Tamariki Avenue, on the other side of Tamariki Avenue along Centreway. So basically moving from one side of the council building to the other side of the council building. So that's nice and handy.
Pretty easy to find.
Google CNR Survey, or Google Surveys Orewa, and I say we normally CNR Surveys normally pop up at the top of the list. So
brilliant.
Okay.
Well, look, I appreciate you coming in, Chris. I think the unitary plan is something we could have gone on for hours about, but hopefully that gives a little bit of insight. But I think one of the key elements that I would say, if you've got a property, one thing you don't want to be doing is when you are looking at selling is to undersell it and not realise the full potential. So if you have something that you think that might have a bit of extra potential, give Chris or one of his team a call, or contact myself. I can put you on to one of these guys as well, and go from there. So thank you very much, Chris, for coming in. And
thank you for giving me the opportunity. That's really good.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.